Olivia will get the dunk at the buzzer. For the 8th time in school history, a Maple Girls softball team is going to state. Hello and welcome to Sports Jam for the week of October 14th. I'm Jay Wilcox.
I'm John Jacobson. This week, highlights from conference cross country, plus week 7 of the football season. Only 2 senior standouts for the Wayzata volleyball team in our Sports Jam spotlight.
And I'll talk football with the unbeaten Armstrong Falcons. And we'll get started with playoff soccer. The Park Center boys entered the postseason with just 1 loss. They were seeded number 1 in Section 5AA. After an opening win over St. Paul Harding, the Pirates played host to Mounds View on a blustery Saturday afternoon. Eddie Swen wins the race to the ball for the Pirates. He's robbed by goalkeeper Alex Katrine. Chief Williams then shoots and Katrine gets a piece of it, but Swen knocks it in as the Pirates take a 1-0 lead into halftime. The weather gets worse, but Mounds View heats up. Bijan Asadi's corner kick is off Joseph Swallen's knee, and it finds its way in just over 2 minutes into the second half to tie it 1-1. 4 minutes later, the long free kick bounces around in front, and Zach Zenge's header sneaks through traffic and in. The Mustangs lead it 2-1. It stays that way until 2.5 minutes remain. Cameron Granner with the corner kick. Daniel Salato's header is in. The Pirates have new life as they force overtime. But in the second OT, Swallen's pass ahead is onside to Uzair Ahmed, and he tucks it under a sliding Brody ping. Mounds View wins 3-2, ending the Pirates season.
The Maple Grove boys also had a strong regular season. The Crimson are the number 2 seed in Section 8AA. They hosted Moorhead in the semifinals Saturday. Nice goal here by Maple Grove's Damon Humphrey, hooking a beautiful shot in on the corner kick. That gives the Crimson a 1-0 lead. Later on a free kick, it's Will Zaber leaving the ball for Humphrey. And he drills it into the back of the Moorhead net, and it's 2-0 Maple Grove. Late in the first half, Connor Fournier passes ahead to Zaber, and the senior patient here with his dribble before finally blasting one past the Spuds keeper for a goal. They'd add one more goal in the second half, and they win it 4-0 over Moorhead. Maple Grove travels to face top seed Brainerd in the section final Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. The state tournament starts next week. Meanwhile, the Maple Grove girls have been in state back-to-back years. They are now, like the Crimson boys, in Section 8AA. They were at home Saturday in the snow and cold to face Moorhead. First half, scoring chance here for the Crimson, but Spuds defender Chloe Straw with a nice play, breaking up the crossing pass. There's no score at halftime. Late in the match, still no score. Watch Maple Grove's Kelly Collins get taken down hard in the penalty area, and the penalty kick is awarded. Maple Grove senior Abby Schulte steps up and delivers, beating the Moorhead goalie with her shot. That's the only goal of the day. Maple Grove survives, winning 1-0. Maple Grove hosts STMA for the Section 8 title Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, a team they beat to start the regular season.
The Champlain Park girls are shooting for their first ever trip to state. The Rebels are the top seed in Section 5AA, and they've played like it so far. They hosted Park Center in the quarterfinals on a windy night in Brooklyn Park. Midway through the first half, Delaney Johnson passes to Paige Kalalo, gets some space, and then a step on the defender and lofts a shot into the back of the Park Center net. The Rebels lead it 2-0 at halftime. Second half, and Kalalo is moving up the right side. She steps nicely around a defender and sets up Blessed Thomas on a great crossing pass. Thomas scores. Champlain Park wins at 5-0. They beat Spring Lake Park 5-1 in the semis Saturday. So it's Champlain Park hosting Roseville in the section final Tuesday. You can watch same night coverage here on CCX at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. John, a rarity here. Both Wayzata teams lost in the semifinals, so neither is in a section final.
That has not happened often. And also the Hopkins boys are in the Section 6AA final. Several local teams left in Section 5A. Girls and boys play with those finals set for Thursday in Osseo. Section meets in cross country are coming up next week. Conference meets provided a good tune-up last week for a lot of local runners. They were off for the girls' championship in the Lake Conference. Young runners dominate the top spots. Wayzata freshman Abby Neckanicki is the winner in a time of 18 minutes, 9.3 seconds. Hopkins 7th grader Sydney Dreblow takes 3rd place for the Royals. Wayzata's Grace Link finishes strong for 8th place. The Trojans are 2nd as a team. On the boys' side, Wayzata senior Shoaib Hussein takes gold in a time of 16 minutes, 4.4 seconds. Hopkins, Nico Shemansky, and Benjamin Haberman take 9th and 10th place for the Royals. We talked to medalists Neckanicki and Hussein after their races.
Well, we just like to train hard and smart. We like to push each other in workouts, and then especially we want to run with the people that we race with.
I wasn't on the top 7 last year. Actually, nobody was going into the state championships. So this team has a lot of lacking experience, but they've come together really, really well. I like how the team is going along. Mainly, we've been dealing with injuries and stuff. I was injured. 2 other seniors were injured. Dealt with some injuries down the line. But I love how the team has come together, really stepped up.
Here are the team results, starting with the boys. Eden Prairie dominates to win with 368 points, way ahead of Minnetonka. Hopkins is 3rd and Wayzata 4th. 38 points, I should say, for Eden Prairie. Edina edges Wayzata by 5 points for the girls' title. Minnetonka is 3rd. Hopkins places 6th.
Local runners and teams fared quite well at the Northwest Suburban Conference meet also. The girls race up first at Elk River Golf Club in the 14-team conference. At the finish, local runners take the top 3 spots. Osseo sophomore Lex Davis wins in a time of 19:27.10. Maple Grove sophomore Lindsey Young is the runner-up, with Jules Davis of Osseo coming in 3rd. Next up, it's the boys' turn, and it's raining for this race. And it's a win for Osseo here also, as McKinnon McCorrow takes first in 16:42.50. Champlain Park's Connor Preston is 2nd, and CJ Young of Maple Grove finishes 3rd and helps the Crimson to the team title. Here's what the individual winners had to say.
Well, you can hear the crowd cheering, getting louder, and in my head I was like, she's coming, she's coming. I had no clue where she was or anything, but I was like, I gotta go and give it my all.
The rain and wind kind of affected me, as I felt I didn't run as great as I wanted to today, but the conditions weren't too bad, as we've had 2 meets where conditions were horrible, muddy, even more muddy than this, so I think I'm getting used to this.
Maple Grove rolls to the boys' team title, easily outdistancing runner-up Armstrong. Osseo is 4th and Champlain Park 5th. Andover wins the girls' title with Maple Grove 2nd and Osseo 3rd. Armstrong is 5th and Champlain Park 6th. Also, the Heritage Christian Academy boys won the MCAA title with Travis Miller and Jared Nordstrom finishing 1 and 2. The Providence girls won the IMAC title with Madeline Kelly winning there. In girls swimming, true team section competition was Saturday for most local teams. Many of our teams are in Section 5AA. Wayzata wins the meet, followed by Armstrong and Champlain Park. Osseo is 6th and Park Center 7th. Also, Maple Grove won in Section 8AA and Breck won in Section 2A. And the state true team meet is this weekend.
And best of luck to the local teams in that. Next up on Sports Jam, highlights from section team girls tennis, plus week 7 of the football season.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. We're now to the final week of the regular season in football.
2 of the area's better teams met up in a defensive battle as Totino Grace visited Champlain Park. Champlain Park strikes big as Jace Miller finds Brock Johnson for the one-handed grab over the middle. He bursts straight upfield. It's a 64-yard touchdown for Johnson, and the Rebels take a 6-0 lead in the first quarter. The defense is excel. Totino Grace's Christoph Kolakowski rolls right. His pass picked off by Cam Hammonds. He's thrown down at the 30, but it halts a drive for Totino Grace. But after forcing the Rebels to punt into the wind, the Eagles capitalize in the second quarter. Heathwin Cooper runs through a big gap for an 8-yard touchdown. Extra point makes it 7-6 Eagles at the half. Third quarter, Grace drives it deep into the Rebels' territory, but Kolakowski's 4th down pass falls incomplete. Champlain Park's Miller gets away with one here as Cooper almost intercepts it with room to run. He has to settle for the pass breakup instead. But here's maybe the play of the game. Miller rolling left, and he throws for Johnson, who makes a great catch in traffic and lands down at the Grace 2-yard line. And it sets up Miller's winning touchdown as he leaps into the end zone for the winning points. Champlin Park grinds it out. They win it 12-7 on a frigid night.
Our defense is really good, and our offensive line can compete with anyone. They get off the ball and push and make it easier for.
The Armstrong football team was looking to stay undefeated as they played host to Chanhassen. After a quick kick pins Chanhassen deep, Cade Kemple forces a fumble and is recovered in the end zone by DJ Hurst, and Armstrong grabs a quick 7-0 lead. With the snow flying in the second quarter, Jake Breitbach fakes a handoff, and he finds enough space to get in for the touchdown as the Falcons build a 14-0 lead over the Storm. Later in the quarter, it's Breitbach with a play-action fake. He rolls right and finds Ty Bowman for a nice touchdown catch. Armstrong's up 20-0 at the half, and they go on to win 34-0. We'll hear from the Falcons later in the show. Coming off a disappointing shutout loss at home against Benilde St. Margaret's, the Cooper football team was looking to bounce back in Week 7 against Irondale. First half, and Cooper quarterback Joe Russell has all kinds of time to throw. He finds Rayshawn Keaton open near the goal line. It's a 31-yard touchdown. Cooper leads 13-0. Irondale leads 14-13 at half, though. Third quarter, the 7-yard run by Sherrod Russell puts the Hawks back in front. After a 2-point conversion, it's 21-14. The Knights answer. Griffin Bourassa throwing to Ignatius Eliafor. He comes down with a nice catch. It's 21-all after 3. 4.5 minutes to play. Sherrod Russell powers in for a 1-yard TD. That's the winning score. Cooper beats Irondale 28-23. The Hawks are 5-2.
The Breck football team lost a lot of talent to graduation last year, and we're down to their third-string quarterback coming into their game with unbeaten Concordia Academy. Snowy night for the Mustangs and the Beacons in Golden Valley. First quarter, and Breck starting linebacker Alex McKenna, who's now the Mustangs quarterback as well, rolls out. It's Will Ott with the pass. Ott takes it from there. It's a 12-yard touchdown, and it's 6-0 Mustangs. Just before halftime, in a huge goal line stand by the Breck defense, they stopped Cal Johnson for no gain on a 4th-and-1 play. It remains 6-0 going into halftime. Third quarter, and Mustangs running back Derek Turner takes the pitch. He finds a seam, and he is gone. The senior back went over 1,000 yards rushing on the season in this game. It's a 65-yard touchdown run here, and Breck leads 12-0. They had one more score in the fourth quarter when McKenna floats a pass into the end zone to an open Ott for a score. Breck's defense puts a shutout on a good Concordia team. Mustangs improved to 6-1 on the season with a 19-0 win.
Spots in the team portion of the state girls tennis tournament were on the line last week. Wayzata faced Maple Grove for the Section 5 AA title at baseline. Zoe Adkins of Maple Grove is in the far court against Miriam Stamen at #1 singles. Adkins with a great drop shot on her way to a 6-0, 6-0 win for the Crimson. At #1 doubles, Wayzata's Emily Mendel and Elise Koltanowski worked the perfect serve and volley point on their way to a 6-3, 6-4 win over Grace Bakke and Ashley Denninger. At second singles, Maple Grove's Emily Carlson is in the near court. She trades backhands with Emma Hawkinson. Carlson wins the point and the match, 7-6, 7-5. #3 doubles, a good net battle. Anusha Patel of Maple Grove wins the point with a lob shot. Patel and Sarah McGraw beat Isabella Lance and Lauren Otto. But Wayzata takes 2 of the 3 doubles matches. At #2 doubles, it's Jaden Hawkus and Kate Ainsworth winning, as the Trojans celebrate a section title with a hard-fought 4-3 win over the Crimson.
They're super coachable. We kind of, starting the season with 10 new people on varsity, an 8th grader on varsity. They've all just come together so well and supported each other so well and just kind of done whatever they needed to get the job done.
The regular season ends this week in high school volleyball. Maple Grove scored a nice Northwest Suburban Conference win as they look to improve their seeding for section play. The Elk River Elks visiting the Crimsons. Maple Grove look for their 6th win in the past 7 matches. Ellie Rossing to G. Hartle, back to Rossing, who tips it over the blockers and down for a point, and a 10-7 first set lead for Maple Grove. Skylar Gray passes to Annika Olsen. Olsen to Kara Sear, who goes off the blockers for a point. Maple Grove wins the first set 25-19. Second set, and off a Maple Grove serve, Molly Benz passes to Claire Hillary, who sets the ball to Kaylin Plotz. She hammers it home, one of her 14 kills in the match. Elks take the second set 25-23. Another close set 3. Back corner attack there for the Elks is good for a point. They win that set 28-26, and they're up 2-1. Late in the 4th set, Sear gets a big block for a point. The Crimson win 25-15. Tying the match at 2 sets apiece. And it's the Crimson prevailing in set 5. Olsen to Gray for the kill. Maple Grove wins 15-11 in the 5th. They take the set and the match.
And time to be ready for the postseason in this sport, too.
Yeah, no doubt. Some exciting section tournaments coming up. And speaking of volleyball, next up in our Sports Jam Spotlight, meet 2 senior standouts for a Wayzata team that's returned to elite status this season. The Lake Conference champion Wayzata volleyball team has a strong senior class led by Elizabeth Helmich and Olivia Johnson. Jason Melillo profiles the Trojans' top hitter and setter in this week's Sports Jam Spotlight.
Wayzata volleyball coach Scott Jackson knew about Elizabeth Helmich when she was in grade school, but didn't think he'd ever see her in a Trojan uniform.
I heard of or met her when she was, I think, maybe 4th, 5th grade, and she wanted to be on a youth team at a private club where I coach, and it's like it was late, and I'm like, well, we got one more spot or a couple more spots, and I met her, and then I knew her uncle, and I asked her uncle, it's like, yeah, I see she's got a Plymouth address. I mean, I'm going to see her at Wayzata. It's like, no, she's in a private school right now. I think she'll probably end up at that private high school. I'm like, oh. I remember being a little bummed out in that moment.
Helmich enrolled in Wayzata schools in 6th grade after attending Minnehaha Academy and Providence Academy. Volleyball was already her passion, and the transition to a big school worried Helmich.
I remember being so stressed about sports because volleyball was my life, as any sport can be for a 5th grader, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna play at Wayzata. There's so many people. So it's just crazy to see how far I've come from being that little 5th grader who thought she would never play.
But Helmich thrived in the Wayzata program, and by chance came together with a lot of talented players who didn't grow up in the district. Fellow seniors Lily Emlog, Caitlin Emke, Kate Long, and Olivia Johnson all moved into the Wayzata district from out of state during middle school.
Me and Lily both moved here 8th grade year, Kate and Caitlin 7th grade, and it's crazy how such great volleyball players moved to the same school, and that definitely helped our program.
It's the best coincidence to ever happen. Like, all of those girls, like, we wouldn't be the same team without them, and it's just such, I wouldn't say lucky, but so amazing that we all get to be on the same team at the same time.
Johnson is a great facilitator for the Trojans offense. She's athletic and very smart, but also has a certain quality that elite setters need.
The thing that people don't necessarily appreciate if they don't understand the intricacies of it is she's very thick-skinned as well. She's getting constant feedback from coaches and teammates, and she works through that feedback to be the best player she can be in every moment.
I constantly get feedback from my hitters, and I definitely am asking for feedback from my hitters, like, what do you need here? Like, I'll get you this. So, like, just not being afraid, like, that if you do something wrong, like, not being afraid to get that feedback. And definitely, like, our coaches are pretty hard on the setter, so, like, as they should be, I feel like. So you just have to have really thick skin and just work over it to know that it's for the greater good of the team.
Helmich has accepted a scholarship to play volleyball at James Madison University next year. Through the recruiting process, she consulted a lot with her uncle, Jeff Carlston. Carlston is the head volleyball coach at Ohio State University.
Some of my favorite memories with him are like me sitting on the bench next to him, like at an away match, or like when they're at the Gophers, and like I get to be on the court with him and just like before the match, and that was really cool. So he's had a huge impact on my life.
Wayzata seniors have been through a lot since coming up to varsity as sophomores, and as their last postseason approaches, they're aiming to go out with a bang.
Helmich finishes it with, I would say, considerable authority, and it's 25-11.
The Trojans placed second at the STMA Fall Classic over the weekend. They wrap up the regular season Tuesday against Minneapolis. Jay talks football with the unbeaten Armstrong Falcons next.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. It's been a special season so far for the Armstrong football team as they head into the final week of the regular season. And we are joined by a couple of guys that have had outstanding years for them, starting with Dace Francis representing the defensive side of the ball. And how special has this season been for you guys? You know, I know you thought you had a chance to be good coming in, and you lived up to it so far.
Yeah, one thing I would say about the defense is our chemistry. We've been doing things like this for our entire high school lives, and we didn't even expect this. So for us to come out as strong as we have is definitely something we feel is special.
Do you feel like the guys overall have handled the success well? Because obviously, you know, in Eden Prairie, Lakeville North, they're kind of used to being undefeated late in the season and everything, but it hasn't happened much here. But have the guys reacted well?
Yeah, Coach Nagin, one thing he did tell us is to kind of stay humble, but, you know, show some pride a little bit because, you know, we earned this record as we feel, you know, so we can walk up with a chest up but stay humble as through the season goes because we still got a lot of games left to come.
Yeah, you got tested against Coon Rapids, but was that a good thing for the program?
Yeah, we needed that, definitely. We honestly were talking before the game or even before the season, eventually we're going to have to come through with adversity. So when that comes, we got to know how to react to it as a team. So I feel like we definitely did a good job with that game.
Not to jump ahead too much, but playoff time obviously is a whole different thing this year. You're in Class 5A. Have you been looking at the section opponents at all? You're looking at Rogers and Elk River to kind of see what they have a little bit?
Yeah, we've been looking at that since the season even started. So we're looking for those games to come, whether if they do or they're not. But rather the case comes, we'll be ready for it regardless.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And Ty Bowman, offensively, you guys have really been getting it done too. You know, how much fun is this offense to be a part of?
It's a lot of fun, you know, being able to air the ball out like we haven't before and, you know, having good running backs and a great O-line. I mean, give us time and get the run game established early in the game. Like, it's fun. It's fun to play.
Did you guys really expect that this season would go quite this well? I mean, it hasn't happened a whole lot in Armstrong football in recent years.
I mean, we've been practicing for it. I mean, we've been prepping for it all year long, you know, ever since we were freshmen, sophomore, junior. I mean, it builds up, and we felt like this would be the year that we could accomplish these things that we have so far, and we can go farther. But, yeah, we definitely expected this to happen, you know, the way we work after it.
You move into Class 5A this year. The bad news is it's probably one of the tougher sections in 5A with Elk River and Rogers especially having really good years as well. Do you look at those teams at all? Do you kind of have that in the corner of your eye a little bit to be ready for that down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I keep track, you know, what games Rogers wins and what games Elk River wins, all that stuff. But it's not super hard focus just to keep track of like, oh, who we might play in sections first or second, or who would be the top team to beat. But we really just focus week by week on getting better. That's what like our biggest focus as a team is, just getting better every week.
Hi, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way here. It's been fun watching you guys so far.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Ty Bowman, the receiver extraordinaire for the Armstrong Falcons, as they have had an outstanding regular season again, heading into this final regular season game as they play at Forest Lake on Wednesday.
And remember to vote for our Play of the Week, sponsored by Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove. This week's 4 plays are up on our website now at ccxmedia.org. Go to the CCX Sports Play of the Week under the Sports tab and vote for your favorite play. We'll announce the winner on the October 21st edition of Sports Jam. And here's last week's winner. It's Armstrong football. Jordan Lewis makes a great catch on a throw from quarterback Jake Breitbach, and the Falcons win over Coon Rapids. Thanks to all of you for voting. Play of the Week brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove.
You're invited to the Brooklyn Park Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on Friday, November 22nd at the Marriott Northwest. Find out more at ccxmedia.org under Cities and in the Community.
It's the last week of the regular season in prep football, and our game of the week is a Metro North Subdistrict matchup between Champlin Park and Maple Grove. You can watch the game live on CCX1 and ccxmedia.org Wednesday night at 7. The game also replays at 10 o'clock Wednesday night. And that will do it for this week's show. Thanks for watching.
Next week on Sports Jam, highlights from section soccer finals and a look ahead to the state soccer tournament, plus the section playoffs in both football and volleyball and much more. We'll see you next time here on Sports Jam.